Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy Barbieux is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
Hi, welcome to the June 2025 episode of CAM Matters. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Betsy Barbieux. And oh my goodness, Betsy, I'm so excited about today's talk. You know, I love the feeling, emotional type of stuff. And we're going to be talking about habits and how that applies to CAM living in life and, well, life in general.
Well, anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah. Well, let's dive in. What inspired you to do the show today?
It was an article that I wrote a couple of months ago for the journal. So people who read the journal will have seen this. I came across an author by the name of James Clear, and I get things from him. And he talked about these habits and broke it down into good habits, positive habits, negative habits, and how each of them will compound on themselves. And you don't want to compound the negative habits. You want to compound the positive. So I just found it fascinating. So I kind of rearranged a lot of his thoughts and put in some of my own and did an article. You know, it was about 5 months ago.
Right off the bat, I have to tell you, the expectation when I hear the word habits, I just assume it means good and positive. But we're going to talk later in the show about how compounding negative can get way down the road and you go, how did I get here? And it was by one negative step at a time, one negative thought at a time, one negative action at a time. So let's talk about the very foundation of what a habit is. What does that mean to you? When you're talking about habits in the show, what is that going to mean?
It's something that you do routinely. It's just part of your life.
Actions, thoughts.
The part that I'm most interested in is not so much the physical kinds of habits, like the habits of eating or sleeping or habits of the way you drive to work the same way every day, the habit of where you park every day, those kinds of things. I like going deeper than that and going to the habits of your, and I call it TWAMs. And some who've been around me a while know that acronym. TWAMs stands for thoughts, words, actions, attitudes, and motives. And you have habits of thinking, habits of words, habits of actions, habits of attitudes, especially, and habits of motives. So if you can actually get down into those areas of your psyche, that's where the outward habits then will change. So we talk about, 30 days, you develop a habit. Well, is it a positive habit or is it
exactly?
A habit?
Absolutely.
And the thing is that we one of the things that Mr. Clear talks about in his writings is not setting goals, but setting an achievement, what?
Like the system to get there?
Well, no, some of that too, but have a goal to become something instead of to do something.
Oh, that's good.
So several of his examples that resonated with me is don't have a goal to read a book a month. Have a goal to become a reader. Don't have a goal of losing weight. Have a goal of becoming a healthy person. Become something. If you want to become a violinist, then if you want to learn to play the violin, then you need to become a musician.
Right.
And so it's it seems like a deeper level.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little more attainable.
think of becoming something,
Right.
which means you don't really ever achieve it.
Right.
And so, but then you don't ever fail either.
Right.
Because if you can become 1% better a day or one task more than you did yesterday, or get one more task accomplished today, you don't have to do them all. Just do a little better than the last time.
Betsy, the way I see this apply to community lifestyle living is whether we're a board member, we're an owner. I mean, when we're better ourselves, we communicate better and we make the place and the world that we touch a better place, and the surroundings, the people that are in our circle, a better, healthier circle.
And I think that that's true. The bigger and better that you can make your circle, I don't know. See, now we're going back around to my favorite topic of networking, because the more that you can enlarge your tent, the smarter you become. The more you help other people, the more they want to help you.
Right.
When you're
emotional maturity, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel really passionate about this. You cannot expand and grow people under your tent if you're not worthy of it. If you're not a high quality, high emotionally mature person, because nobody wants to babysit, and they want to grow from people. They don't want to be, feel like you're a burden or they're always having to fix you or whatever. So there's so many reasons to develop these great habits to be able to grow our network and be better.
I remember talking to a young lady one time, and we were talking about men, and I said something about smart men, and she said, well, I don't want to be around smart men. I said, what? She said, I don't want to be around smart men. And I said, I want to be around smart men. I want to be around smart people who are smarter than me.
Yeah.
Because whether they're men or women, I don't care. I just want to be around people who are smarter than me because it encourages me to learn. I want to be a learner.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit, soak, and sour.
Yeah.
I want to always be.
You got to write that down. Silt, sauce, and sour.
Sit, soak, and sour.
Soak and sour. I love that. Yeah, that's great.
Sit, soak, and sour.
You got twams?
And so we got quams and sit, soak, and sour already in the first half of the show. But I know people that haven't learned anything new since they were 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand not wanting to learn. Right. I want to be a learner.
Right.
So that's, I think, why I like people calling and writing me all the time and asking me questions, because I'm always looking up the answers, which makes me smarter.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Betsy, I'm going to guess that with all the interaction that you have with people, you're able to see, and plus you're already, you have this perception, I'm not saying the right word, but you perceive people, their emotions, their how they're doing, what they're thinking. And I'm sensing that you can tell whether somebody's positive or negative, if they're in a role of positive compounding or negative compounding thoughts and words and actions.
You can tell often by the way they walk. You can tell by their eye contact or lack thereof.
Okay.
You can tell by a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is, but women are reluctant to shake hands. But I learned centuries ago to shake hands and how to do it, because there is a good way to shake hands and there's a not good way to shake hands. So you can tell from the way people talk. If you're around them enough, you can tell if they have a victim mentality or if they have a successful mentality. As they'll talk about things like, well, I don't know why this always happens to me, or it always goes bad. Whatever I touched, and you can just hear it.
Yeah,
that they
did before they even try.
Yeah, and it's like, and they're not good to be around.
What would you say to that person who feels that way? Like, how do you take that first?
I don't say anything to them because they didn't ask.
Okay. Let's say they're asking. What would you say?
Well, it would depend. It would depend. I don't know. It would depend on the circumstance. It would depend on how much time I have.
Right.
It would depend.
But believe that change is possible. You don't have to stay stuck in this negative with your words and actions, and it's all like related. You think negative, your words are going to be negative, your actions are going to be negative, and yeah.
What would it be? The way out is to become aware that humans were created to be self-aware. That means that you have the ability to think about what you're thinking. You have the ability to think about what you're feeling. You have the ability to analyze your thoughts and your emotions. And there are some people who have never thought about that before.
Right. That's what separates us from the animals, right?
Yeah, we're different than the animals. Dogs obviously think, dogs obviously have feelings, but they can't think about them and change them.
Right.
For instance, we've maybe had a nice dinner, but by 9 or 10 o'clock, we go to the refrigerator and we're opening the refrigerator door looking for something else to eat. And then we start thinking, I shouldn't be hungry. I just had a big dinner. I don't really need anything to eat.
I am here out of habit.
And so we can analyze that and shut the door. But your dog gorged himself on something at dinner, and he's at the refrigerator door with you, and he's not thinking about not eating.
Right.
He's not thinking, I shouldn't need to eat again. I should already be full.
So every moment for them is survival. That's not where humans are at.
Yeah, and the humans aren't there. And because we have the ability to be self-aware, to analyze what we're thinking and what we're feeling, we then have the ability to change it.
Yeah. Betsy, this seems like a good place to take a quick break.
Okay.
We've got a lot on the other side. We'll come right back on the other side of CAM Matters.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, community association management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
And welcome back to the June 2025 edition of CAM Matters, where we're talking about habits. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Betsy Barbieux. And Betsy, as we talk about good habits, negative habits, thoughts, words, actions, deeds,
attitudes and motives.
There you go. The TWAMs. Tell us one more time what TWAMs, the acronym, stands for.
TWAMs: thoughts, words, actions, attitudes, and motives.
Nice.
And we have the ability to analyze those. And with the ability to analyze means we can change them and make them more positive.
So as we talk about making changes, we can change how we feel about ourselves. We can change about when we point our fingers back to us. I'm getting so excited, I'm stuttering. But when we point our fingers back to us instead of how you should change, you should do this, you should do that. It's like, oh, wait a minute. If I change myself, if I look to change my behaviors and my words and my attitudes, maybe you will then change. No? But how do you begin to change the beliefs about yourself and change yourself?
One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of what we believe about ourselves, and I'm going to go back, I'm going to kind of go deep here. One of the things we believe about ourselves was taught to us as children. Words that were said to us, and as children, you don't have that sophistication of being able to analyze right and people's words to you as being right or wrong. Most children will believe whatever an adult says. So if an adult says to a child, "You're clumsy," and says it enough, then the child will believe that they're clumsy, and they'll grow up and act into it and be clumsy.
Absolutely.
Or I had a friend that a teacher told her back like in first grade, and she's 80 years old now and she still remembers, but teacher told her in first grade, "Oh, you can't draw. You can't draw." And you know that she has overcome that, and she is the most artistic person And she,
I did not see that coming. I thought you were going to say it was a self-fulfilling prophecy that
she overcame it.
Wow.
But she remembers the words. And even as at 80 years old, those were hurtful words to her.
Yes, they were.
And when she told a group of us that, we all looked at her because we're like, well, she's the most artistic person we know.
Wow.
So she overcame it. But I know people who have it.
Yeah.
And
they move it and they sit in it. Yeah.
You'll never amount to anything.
Right.
Unfortunately, parents aren't perfect, and hurt parents hurt children. Hurt people.
Yes, they do.
And sometimes those words are a reflection of the parents' belief about themselves, and then they pass it on to their children.
Yeah.
But once you begin to realize that you actually have you have an internal power over those negative words that were spoken to you, you can overcome them. Now, will they all go away? No. Just like my friend, she still remembers, whatever that would be, 75 years later, what was said to her as a first grader. So, first of all, you have to analyze, what is the self-talk that I have? What are my thoughts about myself? What do I believe about the world? Children, young people today are being taught what to believe about the world. They're being taught that they're victims.
Right.
And when you are taught that you're a victim and that everybody's against you and that there's some superior group of people that are always going to victimize you, then it's going to result in probably one of two things. Either apathy, you won't do anything, you will never become a productive member of society, or it will show itself in rage. You'll become violent and full of rage.
Mm-hmm. They have the choice. We have the choice to not believe what we've been told or what we have even told ourselves or believe it. I struggle with feeling like I'm not very smart, and that's something I've really had to overcome. And I think all of us have something that where did that come from? Oh, that came from my childhood. I can pinpoint exactly who and where it came from.
And there are things that have been said to me, and I look back and I go, now I can understand that was more about the other person and how they felt about themselves.
Sure.
But it got dumped on me.
Absolutely.
And once I realized that, and because I do have faith in Jesus Christ, I know where my significance comes from.
Yeah.
Now, other people might not, and they might get their significance elsewhere. But mine is seeing myself the way God sees me.
Yeah.
And that's how I stay focused and stay as positive as I am, because I can be a very negative, critical person, but to myself.
Yeah.
But I have to stay focused on what the real truth is. Mm-hmm. It's not what people say about me.
Right.
And for me, and it's not for not going to be for everybody, and everybody who's watching the show won't agree with what I'm saying. But for me, it's what God thinks about me.
Right.
And once you can analyze, are my thoughts his thoughts, are my words his words, are my actions his actions, are my attitudes his, are my motives his? Well, that's a compare.
That's your North Star. So, for you, everybody needs to just figure out what is their North Star to get back on track. So as we wrap up the show, I want to talk about how you had mentioned earlier, you can change your environment.
and you thought that I was talking about moving.
I'm moving to Paris. I got to change my environment, man. That's it. All right.
If you need, and some of this is from Mr. Clear's writings. He was talking about changing your environment, and I don't mean leaving home, but if you are going to become more healthy and you want to drink more water, then fill up some water bottles and place them in different parts of the house or the office to remind yourself to drink.
Do something different.
If you're going to, if you want to start getting stronger and in that line of being healthy, then put your workout shoes and clothes out the night before so that they're ready in the morning or whenever you exercise, or go on and pack your bag to go to the gym.
Yeah.
If you want to read a book, you have to either buy one or download it on Kindle, one or the other.
I'm seeing a pattern.
So you can do some simple things to remind yourself of what the new habit is supposed to be. And habits compound. The more positive habits you create and maintain, the more you create and maintain. Mm-hmm. The more you get up and just being healthier, the more you get up and move around, mm-hmm. the more you'll get up and move around. The more you sit and do nothing, the more you'll sit and do nothing.
You know, what I'm hearing, the bottom line is you keep saying you. Nobody can do it for you. And you'll get to the point, if you've had enough, then you'll make the change. Mm-hmm. I just read a book called The Letting Go Theory by Mel Robbins. And it's amazing. And I love focusing what we're talking about, these positive habits. Don't worry about the people around you, your coworker, your kids, if they walked away from the family, if, maybe your kids will come back. Maybe, your dream job is still to be found, but just focus on yourself and let go of trying to fix everybody else. Establish those good habits. I love this show, Betsy.
Well, and managers especially have to remember to stay focused on the work, not focused on the gossip and the mean words and things. I got an email not too long ago that a board member was telling me that 2 of their staff people are going to quit because the residents coming into the office are so mean and hateful and nasty. And first of all, the board shouldn't let that happen and probably should restrict those owners from entry if they cannot behave. And they're causing 2 of the staff people to need
be grown up. Grow up.
But also, the staff people could also use that. I don't know how old the staff people are. I don't know if they have a victim mentality. Mm-hmm. If you have a victim mentality, then you are going to quit. If you don't let that bother you, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. you understand that it's the nasty owner's problem. It's not your problem.
Right. Betsy, we got to wrap up here, but that seemed like a wonderful final thought, but I want to give you a final thought.
Final thought. TWAMS, thoughts, words, actions, attitudes, and motives. You do have the ability to analyze those. And the more you develop the habit of analyzing those, the more productive person you'll be and the more pleasant person you'll be, and other people will want to be around you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We would love for you to share this, but I'm going to especially ask if you resonate with the TWAMS, if you choose to make some changes, if you say, you know what, I didn't realize I had some negative thoughts, some negative behaviors until I saw this Betsy show. Betsy, would you write into her, let her know what changes you plan on making or what you've decided to do to move in a more positive direction. We're so glad that you joined us, and be sure to either share the show or go ahead and rate it, but just find a way to say thank you to Betsy if you have just a second, because she spends a lot of time and effort to put these shows together to make the CAM life better.
And don't forget the summit, Yidley Educational Summit, August 14th and 15th. You better register now.
And to find out more,
FloridaCamSchools.com.
Have a great one. We'll see you in July.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.